We welcome back Bill PIDTO to the show. Bill, it's always great to have you on and talk Knicks. How are you doing?
Good to see you. Hope your summer's off to a good start.
Yep,
Things are getting very interesting as we record this. That is for sure.
yep, absolutely. Yep, a lot to talk about. But I know you're off season. Well, what off season, Bill? What have you been up to?
Well, I'm just taking it easy a little bit, spending some time with my family. My two daughters are home. The younger one, as you see here, goes to Indiana. Trying to turn around to Mike Woodson, but I have failed miserably. My older daughter lives in Manhattan. I live 2 hours from Manhattan, so she's home for the weekend. So it's been weather's been great. Just been relaxing a little bit, and very curious to see what's going to happen with the Knicks. Of course, they got Jalen Brunson. They re-signed Mitch, and now we'll see what happens with Donovan Mitchell.
Yep, absolutely, Bill. It started with draft night. The Knicks traded out of the 11th spot. That didn't surprise me. It was a night that we won't forget. Obviously, things make more sense now. The Jalen Brunson situation. The Knicks get their point guard. They haven't had a point guard in a few decades of this quality, in my opinion. How do you see him fitting into this team? You know, there's some other players that like to be on the ball, but I think Jalen Brunson's leadership on this squad is going to be the best attribute.
Yeah, I agree. He seems to have a lot of intangibles. He's a second-round pick out of Villanova, who has really improved every year. Had some breakout performances in the playoffs for Dallas this past playoff season, with Luka Doncic out a couple of times, and even when Luka was playing, Brunson was fantastic. So, look, he's a leader. He seems like he's got a lot of intangibles. He's got a lot of ties to the organization with his father. His father's a former Knick, and now as a current assistant, has been an assistant with Tom Thibodeau in the past. So I think it's going to be very interesting. The one thing I would think about, and I've thought about, is how are they going to space the floor with RJ, Mitch, Randall, and Brunson, and only Fournier as a shooter. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they space things out, or if things get too clogged up.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same thing. You know, when they brought in a stretch or a center that can stretch the floor a little bit, we'll talk about that. But yeah, Jalen Brunson, Bill, the way the Knicks acquired him was even better, because it wasn't a sign and trade, didn't need to give anything up. It was just straight into the cap space. So this is a signing of a player heading into their prime. Did big things out west in the Western Conference West Conference Finals, and he comes in and he's going to have just a huge impact. But the way the Knicks acquired him was the best way possible.
I agree. They just signed him, and they didn't have to give anything up. They got a lot of pieces now to maybe make another move. They got all the draft picks. They got the young talent. So I wonder. The thing also that you have to consider is the teams in the East seem like they're getting a lot better. So the Knicks need to improve. Obviously, they won 37 games last year. Took a little bit of a step back. Let's just hope everybody gets along and plays well together, because that's going to be the tale. The chemistry in basketball is so tough to quantify. Hopefully they have it with this group.
Yeah, and Brunson, the good thing is he comes with a pedigree where he's been a winner wherever he's been. One at college, one with Dallas, and hopefully he brings some winning to the Knicks. And of course, some other moves, Bill. The Knicks addressed the center position. We discussed that last time. Mitchell Robinson back. Good news for many Knicks fans. That rim protection that Tom Thibodeau loves. And I feel like Mitch's game can go to another level. What did you think of the re-signing of Mitchell Robinson?
Well, again, they're able to go over the cap to keep him and not have to give up anything. I think $15 million a year times 4 is fair. Let's just hope he stays healthy. He's kind of done himself in with the injuries, although they're not his fault a lot of the time. I just hope he's totally focused and in shape and ready to go from the start. Last year, he was coming off those injuries, wasn't in the greatest of shape earlier in the season. Hopefully he will be this time around. And you mentioned they signed Hartenstein, who could be a real floor spacer off the bench. I don't know what that's going to mean for Jericho Sims. But Hartenstein's a guy that they have not had, in that he's a big that can space the floor, can play away from the rim, and pass very well. Obviously, Noel's not there anymore, so I think that's a pretty good 1-2 punch at center, and it remains to be seen if that means that Jericho Sims is not going to play as much now.
Yep, exactly. Yep, having some huge games for the summer league, which we're about to touch on. But the Knicks did farewell some veterans, Bill, with Burks, Noel, Kemba, and that may open up some minutes for Quentin Grimes, Cam Reddish potentially. How do you see the minutes playing out with the absence of some of these veterans, Burks, Noel, and Kemba, that are no longer a New York Knicks?
So the second five, as we speak, I think is Obi, Hartenstein, Quickly, Rose, and Grimes. I don't know that Reddish fits into the top 10. I don't see where he does, because I don't think they're going to play Reddish above Grimes. Now, maybe D Rose is not able to do what we want him to do, but look, if D Rose can give you 18 minutes of solid play, healthy play off the bench, that's going to be huge. So I don't know if there's a spot right now for Reddish or Sims or McBride. But the second five, be solid. Quickly, Obi, Rose, Hartenstein, and Grimes. Pretty good second five.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Grimes and Sims, for me, have really impressed at Summer League. The Knicks have a chance to play in the finals of the Summer League and win a ring. What have you seen from the Summer League Knicks so far? Have they impressed you?
You know, I really, to be honest with you, I watched last year when there was the guys who were first-year players, and I wanted to see Quickly last year as a point guard in the Summer League. I haven't been paying that close of attention because I don't think it's that relevant. I mean, you would expect Grimes and McBride and Sims to dominate. If they were not dominating here, then you would really be concerned. But I don't know that it's going to transfer into meaning that they're going to be really huge contributors, specifically McBride and Sims. We know Grimes is going to play. But the other two, I don't think they're going to get a lot of playing time this year.
Yep. Well, yeah, definitely the squad's been bolstered as well. There's very, very recent reports, Bill, that the Knicks are in talks with the Utah Jazz for All-Star Donovan Mitchell, a New Yorker as well. It's going to be very, very interesting in the coming days and week as well, with these reports getting more and more louder. The Knicks, have Leon's been saving up these picks, maintaining flexibility, all these things for a big move, and I feel like this could be the move to come. What are your thoughts on a potential acquisition of Donovan Mitchell and what a package might look like in line with what Utah got for Rudy Gobert?
So Danny Ainge now is putting his imprint on Utah, and we all know from his experience with Boston, he loves to acquire draft picks. And of course, got a ton of picks in the trade for Gobert. And the reason why the Knicks are a possible trade partner here is because of all the picks, as you've talked about, that they've been able to stockpile. I saw some report this morning that the Utah wants Mitchell Robinson, and the Knicks do not want to part with Mitchell Robinson. This could go back and forth for a while, but the Knicks have 11 first-round picks over the next 7 years, so they got a lot. Now, a lot of them are protected, and a lot of the picks that Ainge got in the Gobert deal were unprotected. But still, with protected picks here, I think the Knicks have more than most teams. We'll just see. I just hope they don't have to part with a lot of the young players. You figure Quickly may have to go, Obi may have to go. And you and I were talking before we started this, they don't seem to want RJ Barrett because Barrett to do a max extension, and they don't want to have to add money to their payroll. So, hey, if you can get Mitchell and not have to part with RJ Barrett, that would be a real positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back with fans, Bill, obviously Donovan Mitchell adds a lot, but yeah, it would hurt to lose a heap of young players as well. I think what fans are hoping for is more of the pick side of things, pick swaps. There's reports that we could see the biggest haul in picks, to come in. But there's also some hesitation in the size with a backcourt with Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson. Well, that would be a smaller backcourt.
I didn't realize that Mitchell was only 6'1". For some reason, I thought he was like 6'3", 6'4". So, yeah.
In shoes.
Yeah, yep. If you have RJ, Mitchell, Brunson, Randall, and Mitch, I mean, is that enough size with RJ at the wing with I don't know. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. And you would figure Fournier wouldn't be around if they were to get Mitchell in there. So, hey, but they need to do something here to generate excitement. I think that while it may not guarantee contention, I think it would guarantee fan interest, and that would be a real positive. But we'll see. I think there's a lot of time to go before this gets sorted out.
Yep. I think the Knicks are the leaders at the moment because of the assets, like we touched on as well. There's talks about Miami, but the Jazz is, aren't as happy with that package that the Heat could offer. But certainly, like you said, the Jazz do want to rebuild with a generational draft coming up, and it makes sense with the picks. But like you said, Fournier's salary may also be needed to make that deal work, I would say. But yeah, it would bring massive excitement to MSG.
Be great for us. Last year was obviously a little bit of a disappointment. You get Brunson and Mitchell together, and I think the fan base will be really excited. So it's always interesting. In a lot of ways, the soap opera of the summer is more interesting than the game sometimes, but it sure does keep you paying attention, that's for sure.
It does, right? Some of the other moves are still massive moves to happen, Bill. KD, Kyrie, DeAndre Ayton was offered a deal and then was matched instantly. So, yeah, plenty to come.
I don't understand. I thought they would let him go. I mean, they benched him in that last game that they had, Phoenix. I'm kind of shocked that they matched because they didn't want to pay him that.
Yeah.
I don't know. This KD thing is interesting. And again, the soap opera, it's just every summer something else. That to me is LeBron James' legacy is player empowerment, where they go where they want to go, and it kind of turns the league upside down. So, yeah.
What would turn the league upside down is if he ended up with Golden State again. The Warriors have flexibility. They've got pieces they can move.
Can you imagine if Durant ends up with Golden State after that terrible exit he had and the fighting with Draymond Green and everything? See, if I'm Kevin Durant, going to Golden State and winning again does nothing for his legacy. Now maybe he doesn't care, but he's got to be on a team where he's the number one guy and they do well. He hasn't been able to do that yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a big season ahead, Bill. No matter what, with MSG, of course. Do you foresee any surprises coming up with MSG? Anything that you can share with us coming up for this season?
Well, hopefully there's Donovan Mitchell to talk about. That would be good. You guys be all fired up down under there, will you? I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Either way, I think Brunson makes it interesting too. So, hopefully it's a good year.
I think fans are just coming to terms with the Brunson thing still, and then this Donovan Mitchell thing's just hit out of nowhere like a storm.
Right.
And things really would be buzzing.
Right. Mitchell's a Westchester native, which is outside of New York. His dad works for the Mets. So he's a local guy coming back. So that would be really interesting for sure.
Yep. Stay tuned, Knicks fans, and hopefully we talk to you again with Donovan Mitchell as a Knick. And hopefully it's a good deal for both sides as well. That's what we all want to see, and look forward to chopping it up again. Bill, thanks for your time. Appreciate you.
Always, man. Always great to be on. Have a great rest of the summer, and reach out again if you want to do this again. If to get Mitchell, let's do it again. Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Cheers,
All
Bill.
right. See you, buddy.
Peace.